Hi, everybody. Welcome to this San Francisco 49ers post-game recap on Niners Radio 49. Brian Professor B. Davis here at the Keysar Pub here in San Francisco, right across the street from the original home of the 49ers. Keysar Stadium was their original home from 1946 to 1970. Niners losing another heartbreaker right down to the ground, right to the ground heartbreaker, losing to the Vikings at the U.S. Bank Stadium. You just saw on Monday Night Football on ABC by a score of 22-17. We'll get at that game in just a moment. We'll get everybody on for the post game recap coming up on Niners Radio 49. That's another tough one tonight. Wherever you guys are watching, we will recap you the score in just a few moments, or just to recap the game. Niners fought to the end, and they fell just a buck short again, and the Niners got within 5 points, and then Brock Purdy threw that interception intended for Ray McLeod, and it shows now. Without Deebo Samuel, could have been in that position. Who knows if he doesn't get hurt? And when you're undermanned, and so we will get to the recap in just a few minutes. And so the 49ers losing their second game in a row. They now dropped to 5-2. And we will so So we're going to just get to it. The live view watching on Niners Radio 49 YouTube channel, youtube.com/at Niners Radio 49. And we'll talk about tonight's game. So there's still a lot of football left, though. The Niners had one. It was just one of those games that the defense didn't really show up. They played very well last week, and they're going to have to clean this up. And those of you watching on Niners Radio 49 post game recap, our phone number is 415-549-3743. 415-549-3743 is the hotline number if you want to come on and chat 49ers. We're going to be on for a bit, our post-game recap here this evening here at the Keysar Pub in San Francisco. Niners losing another heartbreaker by a score of 22-17. And for Kirk Cousins, another protege for Kyle Shanahan, just the Niners was they're -2 in that turnover ratio, losing first time in 17 games. So that was another factor we could talk about. They were minus in that turnover margin. They lose the turnover and that touchdown, and the Niners were the touchdown interception. The Minnesota won that battle 2-1, and the Niners won it. Were 1 out of 2. So we're just looking at all the stats and what has happened. The Niners losing back-to-back games, and also for those of you who are watching at Satellite Digital Media, we welcome you in on the 49ers post-game recap on Niners Radio 49. So if you want to reach in, contact our hotline is again 415-549-3743. We'll get you all in if you want to talk some 49 football. Another disappointing day. Niners losing two in a row. And the Niners were -2 in that turnover ratio. That was the difference. That was the difference of the contest. So, you can't turn over the ball too much. And that's what happened, you know, the Niners losing back-to-back games. The Niners lost a heartbreaker last Sunday against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland in the rain. Jake Moody missing that field goal, and now you lose two games in a row, 5-2, and the Niners are going to be in this thing to the end, and going in, that's a tough place to play in downtown Minneapolis at the Niners, which has not been a great place for the 49ers in recent times. I believe they have since 1999. They are 99, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it was 99, 03, 04, 05, 6, and then 09. And then it was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the Niners have now lost six straight in Minneapolis. And of course, there have been some tough losses over the years. And the one I can remember, 2009, when the Niners were about to go 4-0, and then Brett Favre, the former Pat, who always been a thrown in the pack, and the 49ers doing his time with Green Bay, through that last second game-winning touchdown pass to Greg Lewis, that many people believe that game kind of altered the season for the 49ers, and the Niners end up missing the playoffs by that one game as a result. But we'll be talking about that in our recap, the aftermath. Tomorrow will be a special Tuesday edition of 49ers Recap, the aftermath on Niners Radio 49. So the Niners now right now sit at 4 and they sit at 5-2 right now. They still in first place in the NFC West. Seattle with winners. But we'll get to that in just a minute. If we have some time, you like to come on, discuss Niners talk on Niners Radio 49. Our phone number is 415 549 3743. 415 549 3743. If you want to come on, talk about 49ers. A lot of you are on Facebook. Check us out. That's our hotline number. If you want to come on, talk 49ers football, 415 549 3743. So we're going to talk about this game, and, hopefully the Niners are going to bounce back. Two tough losses right down to the wire, Niners still had a chance to win. The defense, gave it too much change, and we're going to look at and just recap. We'll recap the game. We're going to give you some scores of the standings, not only in the NFC West. Seattle was winners with a 20-10 win over the Cardinals, and they were also Philadelphia with their win last night over the Miami Dolphins in the interconference game for Sunday Night Football on Sunday night. So the Eagles have top spot in the NFC. Remember, the top team in the respective conferences will have the first round bye. So, this is where they. So this is where you Niners are going to be at a crossroads with some guys are injured, and this is the Niners are going to bounce back. This is a good team. It just was one of those nights, though. Kirk Cousins on fire, only his third win in 13 games on primetime action under the bright light. So and the Vikings are not. This is the reason why they won the NFC. They were in the NFC. This is why they won the NFC North last year because of their performance at home. So you just that's why we talk about you take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time, and you just never know. Some days it works and some days it doesn't. So I got some Niner fans here, and I'm gonna if I can get into my I'm gonna check this out. Give the Hey guys, here's some of the Niners schedules, and check me out though. Here's the information. Here's the schedule, and yeah, Niners Radio 49. I'm on the air though. Check as well. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yep, yep. Click on YouTube and check us out though. Yep, they'll bounce back next week though. Yep. All right, all right. So I gotta get back on this though. Yep. So if you're Niner fans, giving out some of the schedules and just trying to grow this thing out on Facebook and on YouTube here on Niners Radio 49. If you're on right now, if you want to come on, we'll talk Niner football. 415-549-3743. 415-549-3743 is the hotline number. You want to come on talk 49ers football. If we're going to, right now, we're just going to just recap the game. Niners dropped to 5-2. It's still early. So we're gonna just get to the recap of the game, and we're gonna get some more. Also, those you watching on City Bowl, we welcome you of watching 49ers post game recap on Niners Radio 49, and for our friends of the 49er at Faithful in the UK, we're gonna continue to expand this thing, expanding the globe to make this a popular page, and then we also send send for Niner Faithful in the UK. So let's get back to the game itself. So let's get back into the stat. Get back into the. We want to talk just to recap the game, and we're gonna break down the stats of tonight's contest here on Niners Radio 49. Just and you got to give the Vikings a lot of credit. They were ready, and Brian Flores blitzed a lot. Vikings were 57% blitz through week 7, and this team blitzes a lot. So, so in the first quarter, if the Niners, Christian McCaffrey, after he fumbled the ball right near in the red zone, that set the tone as the Vikings went on that first play. They in the first quarter, in that first quarter, as in the first quarter, in that first quarter, it was they went 89 plays, 6 minutes and 6 seconds on 10 plays, 89 yards. This was right after the Christian McCaffrey fumble, and the Vikings capitalized. It was a 7-0 game, and then Greg Joseph, correction, booted a 21-yard chip shot field goal, made it 10-0. The Niners had got the ball and got no points, and then Greg Moody or it was Jake Moody missed the field goal. 40-yard field goal was the difference. And then Kirk Cousins connected where Christian McCaffrey rushed in for a touchdown, 3-yarder, and made it 10-7. And then Kirk Cousins hooked up with Jordan Addison, a 60-yard touchdown with 16 seconds left to play in the first half. It looked like Javius Ward looked like he intercepted or knocked down the ball, and it was a touchdown for the Vikings, 16-7. In the third quarter, Joseph hit his second field goal, man, 19-7. Then Brock Purdy passed to Christian McCaffrey for a 35-yard touchdown, and that was his 16th consecutive touchdown. He moves into second place for most consecutive touchdowns. He would pass up, I believe he passes up the Hall of Fame great, that would be John Riggins, the Hall of Famer and Super Bowl 17 MVP. So now he's now the all-time record. He's now one behind the great Hall of Fame great Lemmy Moore for the Baltimore Colts. And then and then it was 19-14. Then Joseph boomed a 54-yard field goal, and it was 22-14. But then after that, Jake Moody hit a 55-yard field goal. It was 22-17. And then the Niners drove down after the Vikings got the ball, and they drove and didn't. And then Greg Joseph missed the field goal. So then after that missed field goal, the Niners drove down, looked like for a potential game-winning touchdown, and then it was the interception play. Purdy throws an interception, and that was it. The Vikings wrapped it up right there. They pick up their first win in 2023 at home. So let's take a look at the final totals of the game. Vikings statistically 24 first downs to San Francisco 19. The Vikings were 8 out of 13. Niners were 5 of 9. And you look at that percentage. So they were like 119.6%. The Niners were just 8.5%. Total yards, 452 total net yards for the Vikings to the Niners 325. The Niners defense and Kirk Cousins carved up the Niners defense 378 yards passing. Niners only 260. The Vikings held the Niners only 260 yards passing. You got to give Brian Flores, the former Miami Dolphins head coach, credit for dialing it up, for dialing it up. And then total plays, the Vikings 66 plays to the Niners 53. Completion attempts 35 of 45 for the Vikings. Niners 21 of 30. Total rush, the Niners 22, the Vikings 21. But it was the Niners were -2 in that turnover takeaway ratio. Niners had 3 critical turnovers to Christian McCaffrey's lost fumble that turned into a big 7 in the first quarter. And then the Vikings only turned over 1 time. The time of possession, the Niners were penalized 5 times for 37 yards. Vikings 5 times for 35 yards. Niners 25 minutes and only 4 seconds of time possession. Vikings 34 minutes and 56 seconds. So let's just look at the final numbers. Brock Purdy, 21 of 30, 272 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey led the way for San Francisco. He had 15 carries, 45 yards on 15 carries. He averaged only 3 yards per carry. He did have 3 receptions for 51 yards. 51 yards on 3 receptions. He averaged 17 yards per catch. Altogether, he had 96 all-purpose yards, which is not bad. And then and on the touches he had, and he averaged 5.3 yards per touch of the 96 all-purpose yards. So, and then for Kirk Cousins, he was 35 of 45, 378 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw an interception. And then Alexander Madison for the Vikings, 8 carries for 39 yards. But the big star of the game for Minnesota, Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison, the rookie, he had seven receptions for 123 yards. He averaged 17.5 yards for a catch. And then looking at some of the individual numbers for the 49ers, as George Kittle targeted 7 times, 5 receptions, 78 yards. Brandon Ayuk targeted 6 times, 5 receptions for 57 yards. Juan Jenks targeted 9 times, 5 receptions, 54 yards. And then Ross Dwelly caught 1 ball for 12 yards. And then Jake Moody was 1 out of 2 in field goals. He had a 55-yard field goal. He's 2 for 2 for extra points. He had 5 points. And then Mitch Wisnowski had punted only 1 time all night long. It was a big 62-yard punt. And then defensively, the Niners defense did not have no sacks. And it was Hargrave with 4 solo tackles. And then Fred Warner had 7 solo tackles, 6 assists. So the Niners defense did not get not 1 sack. And then Ray McLeod, a kickoff return, 34 yards. So that's how it went for San Francisco. And the Niners, first time, and really lost the game tonight or on Monday night for the 49ers. They were 1 out of 2. They were -2 in that turnover ratio. And the Vikings were +2. And they were +2 in that ratio, and they scored. They scored that big touchdown. That big touchdown was the difference. They scored that big touchdown off of McCaffrey's turnover. So when you turn over the ball twice, you're not going to be successful, going to win. So and this is why the Vikings won the NFC North last year. They are the defending champs, and they needed this win desperately, because they were trying to avoid going 0 for 4 for the first time at home for the first time in their long historic history. So the Niners dropped to 5-2 of the season. Minnesota improves their record to 3-4, and then with the Seahawks were winners on Sunday. They're now 4-2, only a half game back. We're not quite at the halfway mark. And then the Rams are 3-4. They're 2 games back, and the Cardinals lost as well. So there's only one team in that division with winners, and that was the Seahawks. And Detroit, well, the Vikings now remain 2 games behind the Detroit Lions in the NFC North. And then with the Eagles were winners on Sunday night over the Dolphins. They're now 6-1. The Niners are now tied with Detroit with the second best record in the NFC at 5-2. They both right now own, and then the Falcons are right now in first place with a 4-3 record, only 1 game out of second place in the NFC. So that was the story, how it went on Monday night. The Niners will fly back, and they'll be getting ready to play the Cincinnati Bengals for week number 8. They'll take on the Cincinnati Bengals this coming Sunday, and it will be October 29th. The kickoff time at 1:25. They'll be it will be the wrap up the month of October, following back-to-back road wins in Cleveland and Minnesota. The Niners going 0-2 on this wraparound road trip. And the Niners hope to get some more home cooking because 3 of the next 5 weeks they'll be on the road. Join the faithful when the Niners take on Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase in the Cincinnati Bengals next Sunday. Niners and Bengals. That'll be a 125 kickoff. That'll be presented by SAP. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com slash 49ers. Ticketmaster.com is your official ticket provider of your San Francisco 49ers. That kickoff time will be at 1:25 p.m. Pacific. The game will be on CBS, and I'm assuming Jim Nance, the top team, will be there calling that game. Will be Jim Nance and Tony Romo will be calling that game, and you can catch the game on the Niners Radio Network, KBR 680 104.5 FM, and as Greg Papa, Tim Ryan with the play-by-play in action with the call. So that's going to do it for now. For the latest news on 49ers News, go to 49ers.com and check us out on Facebook.com/@NinersRadio49 and check us out on YouTube, YouTube.com/@NinersRadio49. Please hit the subscribe button so we can hit that subscribe button so we can continue to build this thing up. And this is going to be a great platform for 49ers news, and we'll have a lot, kind of so much more. So the Niners, hopefully they can get well before they head off for their bye week. They will play the Bengals coming on Sunday, October 29th. That's a 1:25 p.m. kickoff. The game will be on CBS. Then the Niners, in 2 weeks from now, they'll have their bye week, and then they'll be back on the road for another interconference game when they'll take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. That will be a 10 a.m. kickoff time, and that'll be coming up in 2 weeks' time. That's it for now here at Kezar Pub here in San Francisco. Once again, the final score. Niners fall to the Minnesota Vikings. They lose back-to-back games, back-to-back heartbreakers by a score of 22-17. And for now, we'll wish all of you so long. You've been watching San Francisco 49ers postgame recap on Niners Radio 49. 49ers postgame recap on Niners Radio 49 is an association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network, where every team has a fan, every fan has a voice. The network home of champions. 49ers football, faithful then, faithful now. Good night, everybody. Take care.